Well, hi there, and welcome to our Sunday Song Time. And, this being Father's Day Sunday, we'll say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And I have a bluegrass song for you. It's not super old, although, you know what, maybe getting close to 30 years or so ago now. All right, Ricky Skaggs did this one. And it's called The Little Mountain Church House. There's a little mountain church in my thoughts of yesterday, where friends and family gathered for the Lord, where an old-fashioned preacher taught the straight and narrow way for what few coins the congregation could afford. Dressed in all our Sunday best, we sat on pews of solid oak, and I remember how our voices filled the air, how Mama sounded like an angel on those high soprano notes, and when the roll was called up yonder, I'll be there. Looking back now, that little mountain church house has become my life's cornerstone. It was there in that little mountain church house I first heard the words I based my life upon. At the all-day Sunday singing and dinner on the ground, many were the souls that were revived, while the brothers and the sisters who gone on to glory land slept in peace 'neath the maple grove nearby. Looking back now, that little mountain church house has become my life's cornerstone. It was there in that little mountain church house I first heard the words I based my life upon. Looking back now, that little mountain church house has become my life's cornerstone. It was there in that little mountain church house I first heard the words I based my life upon. I first heard the words I based my life upon. Little Mountain Church House. Well, some of you know that I pastor a little church. Yeah, just a part-time pastoral role that I have. But it's in kind of it's a little church house for sure out there in the country. I tell people it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. And I was visiting with one of our elderly members recently, and she's not able to get out to church like she'd like to, but we were having a nice conversation, and she was showing me some old pictures and was telling me a bit more about, how she grew up on the farm that's across the road from our little church, and how her mom and dad went to that church, how her grandparents were in that church, and I began to get a picture of all the generations that were involved in this little church. Oh, by the way, our church is called Generations Community Church, so I thought, that's appropriate. And I was just thinking about, the writer to the Hebrews in Hebrews chapter 12 speaks about this great cloud of witnesses that surround us. Now, these aren't Jehovah's Witnesses, and they're not like spirits that are spying on us, but these are like, in a court of law, people who witness to something. And there are all kinds of people who have gone on before us, people who have walked with the Lord and discovered the promises of God. You can actually stand on those. And since we're surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. It does, doesn't it? And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. God has a race marked out for you. Fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. And it says to consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. And I was thinking of, Hebrews chapter 10. It says that we are to hold unswervingly, hold on to this hope that we profess. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. This hope we profess, we can hang on to it because he who promised is faithful. And we can encourage other people with that. What we've discovered as well, as we meet together, encourage one another. And, I was thinking of Colossians chapter 3. There we are. There's quite a few references to this kind of thing. But in Colossians 3, it says, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms and hymns and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. I don't know, maybe you go to one of those really big, fancy churches. Maybe you go to a little church like the one I'm at now. Maybe you just gather with some friends around the kitchen table. Ooh, you know what? God can be anywhere, can't he? Can be. He is. Yes. As you gather together, however you do it, remember, encourage one another. Encourage each other. And build on the fact that there are those who have gone on before us. And, as we think about running a race, right, fixing our eyes on Jesus, think of that cloud of witnesses as sort of like a cheering section. And they're saying, hey, keep at it. Keep going. We made it, and so can you. Don't give up. Hope you get some encouragement from that here on this Father's Day Sunday. May God richly bless you.